Hi everybody, welcome to Deb's Thing. This is Debbie and today I will be presenting you with my original design that I have titled Dally Gal, sort of a tribute after one of my beloved Dalmatians that we had years ago. This one is referenced in part 2 of my introduction to my original design collection as 5X. I am in love with this bracelet. I haven't been really showing them on because I don't want to show my wrists or anything, but look how cute that is. And then this one, my 10-year-old thinks it should be Christmas lights, but this is the one reason I called it Dally Gal. I have another Dalmatian Lord Swayze Dreamer, which is more suited for that one, but I will make another bracelet for him. So very, very cute. This one is fairly easy, except there's one spot where the bands are really tight on a few of the posts, and we will get through that. You will need 5 rows parallel to each other, with the arrow pointing away from you. Take your time and put the braces on and however you see fit. I found this design to be fairly sturdy. You press it all down, make it nice and tight. This one I felt I want to go a little springtime, like a Dalmatian frolicking in the grass with a beautiful blue sky. So for my background color, instead of the white, I will be using the turquoise. And then for the circles, I will be using the 4 colors in the spring. I just bought this since the prices have gone down. And you will need 17 in all. And I'll just go over here. I line them up in order of how I will be placing them. That way I, would be pleased with my arrangement of the randomness of the colors. Of course, if you want to do something sequential, like all the centers one color, all the outer ones another, or they make a little triangle all the way up to the last 2. So if you want to make, red, blue, yellow, something like that, feel free to think about it and make it fun, because this is a very fun design. We will start by, we're going to be placing all our A colors first. The first one we are going to, I make my arrows so I show where I'm supposed to be, and then I don't pay any attention to my arrows. Okay, you place it across here. This will actually be our extension band, and so now it'll be nice and easy and simple after that. So that's band 1, and then you are going to place a band out here and a band out here, and then from these 2 posts we are to go in to the center. And these center posts are where it's going to get tricky looping back. I have so much trouble, but you won't. Then, okay, that's the first set. Now we're going to be placing, let me see, how do I have that? Okay, place out, center, out, and then out from this one. Center to the right, and then another one out. Then we will be doing a V from the center out, out, and then we will be placing a band here and a band here. So where all these come together in these opening right here, 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 and here, those will be where we're capping. So we are going to continue to repeat this. You can push the bands down as you need to. And I always work from left to right, that's just my preference. And then when you loop back, you go from left to right. Yeah, I think that's how it is. We'll find out when we get there. Don't pay attention to things. Okay, so we have that. Now we are going to do this little triangle here. I'll probably just stay with you since it's going pretty fast in spite of the number of bands. On the right, and now we will make the V in the center. Oops. Sorry about that. Now look at your design, Debbie. We'll make the upside down V in the center. And then, I don't like that band. We will place, see, I was doing it from here. It doesn't really matter. It's just when you loop out of the cap, it'll be the one on top goes first and the one in the second. So, but if you keep in order, it's easier to understand. Okay, so we got that next. So we will be doing. We'll be doing this V right now. We'll do this one. Yeah, I make all these, and then I do them again to practice before I end screen, but before I start the tape. And then I realize I can't do a video right now, so I practice another couple, and then by the time I actually... Sorry about that. Sorry, that was one of my alarms. Didn't mean for it to be so loud and startling. Okay. Place left to the right, and then from this one to the center, and then from this one to the center, and then we're going to go out from the center, 2 on each side. Then we will make our V. See, there's quite a few bands on these right here. So that's where it gets tricky. It's getting those, the ones, I think it's the ones that you loop, this one and this one you loop out. By the time you get to, oops, to them you're so buried in bands. You really have to be careful because it messes everything up. Okay, almost done. That alarm was to go pick up my daughter from her friend's house, so I don't think she's going to yell at me if I'm a little bit late, right? Yeah, Mom, hurry up. I'm tired of being at my friend's. Will you get over here already? I don't think so. I have 6 children, and I have to thank any kids that my children went to school with or go to school with. Their parents have been so wonderful helping pick them up and take them places and dropping them back off. Once in a while I am able to do it, but a very big thank you for all the parents who have helped me out over the years and given my kids a little break from in this house. I was a carpool mom years ago, but now I depend on others, and I'm so, so grateful. Back to this, we're almost done. Okay, now we're going to go the V out here, the wide V, and then we do the upside down V. And then we go out from the center to the left. Takes quite a few bracelets, but I'm just in love with this one. When I came up, of course I have to have allegiance to this one for my Dalmatian's sake. But when I came up with this color, oh my gosh, it's so cute. And out here, and now we will be finishing up. It's going to be a little, you know, since this one has the 2 V's, it just kind of ends up, this one has the 1 V, but I mean, the ends aren't really symmetrical, but you really can't tell, I don't think. Nobody's going to inspect you as that symmetrical. The symmetrical police. I like things asymmetrical anyways. Okay. So we place our last bands. And you can cap this with the blue or the turquoise. I just twist it once and then roll it on. Or you can do this, which I always have so much trouble with. You know what I mean? You twist it in half and then stretch it out over. Or you can wrap it around your hook, like this. And that gives you a little more ease when you have the hooks helping you stretch it out. So hang on tight. Of course you won't realize I'm gone, but this is what your loom should look like, and I will be back for the next section of band placement. Alright, Mama's back from her errand, so let's continue on. We are going to be putting caps on this, and this as we go up the segments. Now I'm going to take one of my colors and, oops, again, was that off the screen? I'm sorry. We're going to be doing this, and this triangle of pegs as we go up. And I twist and roll. Try to do it on this side. On this side, see. Uh-oh. Is it a quarter? Shoot. Something happened. Oh, alright, okay. Anyways, I'm mumbling here. Twist it, and then roll it on. Oops. Twist it, and then just take your thumb and roll it over. You can also, if you want to keep the bands neater, of course they fix out pretty good. You can do this at the end, twist them around to get them the way you want them. But another way to do it is put the band on the hook, wrap it around once, grab the end, and place it over. That is actually the neatest, cleanest way to put on the bands. So something happened here. You know, I'm going to go off camera a second and figure out my order because I must have knocked one off or something. I'll be right back. Alrighty. So now we did those two, these two. So, oh my gosh. I forgot a whole segment, didn't I? Okay, you know what? I spaced out right here, didn't I? But no worries, that's a simple fix. All we have to do is... Why didn't you guys say something? Go from the center, out, in front, well, take these two off first, since this would have gone on before those did. I'm so sorry. Probably blabbing about too much stuff instead of concentrating. You just grab these, and as I do left to right, I'll put that one on first, and then that one. Okay. Now my state of confusion has ceased. Okay. So now we are going to place a band on this one. Place a band on the one to the right of it. And then above the center. It's always where the two come out from a post. Because if you've done any cap looping out from caps, you'll understand which ones. Okay? So see the pattern here. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Just work your way up. You know, triangle, triangle. There's a total of 17 pegs in all, with this being, whoops, these two, I'm sorry, being the last pegs in the sequence. Alright. Have fun putting on your caps. Somehow, an extra dark green messed up my sequence. I don't know where that came from, but anyways, this is how I placed my green colors randomly. I just tried to make it so there weren't two in a row. Try to make them look like, when you look at them, kind of, you know, make them look randomly placed. So now we are going to loop out of all the centers first. Oops, you know what? I turn around first, so the arrow is pointing down, and it will make much more sense. So we will start here. I start on the left, and my top band goes to its own post on the left. This one goes to the right. This one goes to the right, and you might want to keep your thumb or finger on those bands because they do like to pop off. And so you are going to be doing this all the way up with all 17 caps. You can use your finger, just prevent it from slipping off when you do the first one. And once you've done the first one, it's not going anywhere. Okay, so this is very easy, and it shouldn't take so long. Take too long. Alright. Now that you have the bands looped out from the center of your caps, this is how it should look. Now we will start on looping the blues, and it's all easy except these right here, and I pray that they come out easy enough. So we will start by taking this one to the left, whichever one's on the top. You do that one first and bring it to its own post. And flip around. Okay. Then you're going to reach in and grab this one and bring this up here. And I think what I said. Hold on, I'm just mumbling here. Hold on. Okay. Now we have to get this band and this band, and there's a lot of turquoise bands, so you have to sight it out down here, whichever the one is on top. What's happened to me is if I pulled the wrong one first and it's a little twisted, it's so impossible to get it back. Just loop it that way. It just won't come out as clean. But I really don't think it'll be too bad. But we want to try to do things perfectly. So the best way to do it is just to make sure you set it down center, pull all these back until you can see that you've pulled them all back right above that one. Let's see, this looks like the right one. Ah, yes! Hooray! I got the right one and it was on camera. Okay, the second one, of course, is easy because it's the only one down there. So then you do that one. Now we take the outside and bring it up. And then we will take these. Let's see. Oops, where is that one? It's so much easier when you're sitting back and have an angle. Just that I don't want to blurt out while I'm doing this because I am a little bit further away so it stays in focus. Oops. Just open it way up if you have to make sure you grab the right band. Okay, then we get to this wonderfulness. Fortunately, there's only 6 of these. So I just go until I see that I've got them all stretched out except the second to the last band, and gently you want to, as you stretch it out, since there's so many bands causing tension, you don't want to break it. Don't ask me for help if you do. Okay, let's see. Sometimes I like to coax it out with my fingers too, just to make sure that it doesn't break. If you're using rainbow loom bands and you don't play, every once in a while there's a really skinny one, don't use those. I just use my canines and break it open so it, I know not to use that one and throw it in the trash, and make sure that the bands have consistent thickness. Every once in a while you'll have one that's extra fat and then one that's extra thin. It's not very often. So stay away from those thin ones and use Rainbow Loom brand, unless you found some other brand that's just as strong, but I have had very bad luck. Okay, make sure I'm packing too much and I don't lose track. And I said this is the only band that you can look. I don't know if you can see that. I've pulled all the bands except the last 2 out so that I can see my hook there from the side and know that I am pulling this one out. And then there's only one down here. I mean, these are extra taut, they look real thin, but once you take it off the loom, it'll be fine. They'll all tighten up and look nice. So see, this isn't really hard. I mean, of course with 5 bars you have more bands, but it's not an overly complicated. Okay. There we go, that looked good. That one pulled out nicely. I'm just going to stay on camera, looping this all the way up since I'm getting close to done, and it's a little bit more complicated sequence, so it's easier for you to follow along. It's having to, instead of having to continually stop and rewind it to catch. But now I do it this way. I think I was born left-handed, but I loved coloring, I loved anything to do with art, and I never wanted to stop doing things. And so when I can remember in first grade, you know, I'd be sitting there coloring with my crayon, and I had my left hand down here holding the page, and I was getting some nasty cramps in that little right hand of mine. And so, I'm sorry if I'm out of focus, but I just need to do that so I can see what I'm doing here. And so my little 5-6-year-old mind started thinking, that left hand sitting there doing nothing, it looks just like the other one, and why can't it color? And so then I would just start swapping hands, so I never had to stop. I could just color and color and color for hours on end. While one hand was resting, the other hand was enjoying itself. But I guess back in those days, they figured I'd be some kind of confused human being if they you know, what's the word I'm thinking of, accommodated my ambidextrousness, and so they kept making me work with my right hand. So I learned to write with my right hand, and you know, baseball and all the sports, but I just am inclined to use my left. So sorry that I know most of the population is not left-handed, and it's probably a little hard for you all to watch me, but hopefully I'm not causing you too much grief. So now that we're at the end, we are going to pull this side out and hold it. This is our first extension. I love having the extensions already kind of set up instead of having to, you know, transfer, you know, all your bands to one band and then try to snake one through. Now this one's a little harder if you see the way I do my extensions, because it is spread apart, but there's more tension because of that. But you can still do it, just take it a little slower. I had a 6 1/4 inch wrist, and I've realized over time that having a total of 10 bands, that includes this first one, the cap, and I do 5 on each side, so this is 1. Turn the hook upside down and gently pull it through each loop. Turn the hook upside up so you don't lose your band, and place the other half on. If you do, hopefully these haven't slipped out, you know, because they're in there pretty tight. Just stick your hook through it and start again. And you repeat this process, keeping these loops right down here a little slack so you can easily pull this band through. You can do your extension, you know, all in one side like this, but I don't know, just kind of like a clasp on, you know, your regular jewelry. Here's my 5th one. Just like the clasp seated at the underside of my wrist. Then I like to clip it before I take it off. I stretch it out and put my fingers through. Making it taut really makes it easy. Oops. You can either have it down and pop it on, or this thing's like a little jumping bean. You can have the opening up, and with it taut, it slips on super easy. Now you can place your hook to the side and start releasing the tension off the sides. This is definitely one you don't want to just try to pull off, because there's a lot of bands there, and we don't want to distort this little beauty. Okay. Now, where's my hook? Other hook. I You see my other videos? This is very inexpensive. I think it's less than $2. I think you even get 3. But the smooth end, or any little metal utensil, something or plastic that's smooth and thin, it works really, really great. We're popping off the bands that have a lot of tension on them, or the pegs that have a lot. So we'll get these off first, because the center, those 6 or so posts that where we had to fight to get that first band out. Okay, like these right here. This is definitely helps set it in the center and pull it off. It's worth the patience, I think, to take just a little bit of extra time and get what you want. Now, if it looks a little messy, all you're going to do is grab your little circles and just move them around until they, come on, I've never used these before. These special edition are a little thicker, so they're not as cooperative. But if you're using the regular bands, so you just go and do that down. Yeah, I like this color. Looks very springtime, happy. Oops, this one here. See this one, you grab, okay, there it goes. So now they stay together. So the ones that are split apart like this, you'll just want to turn it around till the twisted side is out. That way it won't be flared open, unless you want the flared open. I mean, some of my bracelets I like it like this, but this one I wanted to make it, there we go. So you can see how that works. Oops, if you go too far, you gotta kind of go around again until you find it. Okay, that's good. Okay, so now we will finish the extension. Here's the little cap band. So I will be placing my other 4 bands with arrows pointing towards you, as most people do their extensions. I'm only doing half the extension, so I won't be putting 7 or 8 bands, or however many you need. I'll be putting 4. Stretch the cap over this last peg here. Stretch it over. This is a great tool for releasing, but holding it is kind of tedious. I like the fatter, much more comfortable on the hands over time. Okay, so now you know the drill. You reach in and just do like a single chain. These 2 bands, just pick them up. Oh, I can't wait to have this posted. I'm looking forward to hearing your comments on this, because I just love this one. So you pull them off, find your little clip, hold it so the opening is upright. I find this the easier way. Okay, and then stretch the band out so that you can easily place the clip. And there you have Dally Gal. Tribute to my beautiful Dalmatian. We only had her for 5 years. She had some skin issues. I won't even get into details because it was horrible, but watching her shake in pain and not having any way to relieve her of such suffering, we had to have her put down. So, love you, Dally Gal, and I miss you, and I hope everybody likes Dally Gal as the bracelet. If you like this, share it with your friends, and if you want to see more of my original designs, be sure to subscribe to Deb's Thing. Thank you so much for watching.